Everybody on YouTube at one point or another feels as though their channel is stuck, just sinking in quicksand. In fact, so many channels get to a point where they start in quicksand and never claw their way out. Part of the reason I think this happens is because there's so much advice on YouTube that's simply outdated or flat out wrong. I even have videos on this channel where in parts of them I'm giving advice that I no longer agree with, but they're being seen by fresh eyeballs. So at the very least, I thought today we could debunk some YouTube myths and misconceptions so that we can set the record straight on some things. I'm also going to talk about some new stuff as well, such as AI and YouTube automation, because that's another emerging trend and we need to talk about it. So raise your hand if you felt like at any point your channel on YouTube has just been in like invisible mode. Because when I first started, I was certainly there myself, but for me, there were a lot of things going on in the background that made that happen, and I'm going to explain why I think that could be happening to you. I know what it feels like to put your heart and soul into a video and publish it and have it go nowhere. Sometimes even your most loyal viewers don't watch, and it's very confusing. When this happens, a lot of creators assume that myth number one, they've been shadow banned. Now I say that's a myth because, well, we're busting myths, but also it really is most of the time. First things first, there's a huge misconception around what shadow banning even means. It doesn't mean that you're simply recommended less or shown less around YouTube. No, shadow banning means your videos would not be seen by a single person on YouTube. It would no longer recommend them, and it would be a thing that the platform of YouTube actively does to your video. The easiest way to show you this is that if you're a YouTuber, check your comments held for review section. When you're in YouTube Studio, click on comments, click on held for review. Is there any comment in there? Because if there is, that is what shadow banning looks like. The public can't see the content, but the creator oftentimes doesn't know that. Has it happened to YouTube videos before? Probably. But any channel facing a shadow ban would likely be one that is posting extreme content. Content that is very obviously to YouTube's systems a red flag. So if it's not shadow banning and your videos aren't getting seen by anyone, what is going on? Well, YouTube's algorithms are incredibly complex, and there are multiple. They factor in things like watch time, audience click-through rate, engagement such as comments and likes, the amount of time somebody watches a video, if people watch the video a second time, if people share the video. And those are just some examples. There's probably a lot more going on behind the curtain. So if your video is getting no views at all, or it got a couple views and then stopped, it's likely because it's just not resonating with an audience. But what if your video was getting views and then suddenly whoosh, dropped off a cliff? Well, that could be due to changes in all of those factors I mentioned a second ago, but it could also be because something else is going on. For example, I mentioned earlier that we have a lot of outdated content on our channel. Sometimes our old videos continue getting views, but they become really old, and then somebody else comes along and makes an updated version of that video. In essence, those other YouTube growth channels kind of take our spot in that particular search term. In those instances, it's other channels coming in and kind of eating our lunch. They've taken our slot in that particular space on YouTube, and more people are watching that video than ours. It could also be because your video was about a more trending topic and the trend kind of died down. There could be a million things going on that make it so your video was doing well and suddenly is not. Some videos just have kind of a natural lifespan. But I encourage you to just keep making good content and not just assume automatically, oh, I've been shadow banned, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing because obviously YouTube just had something against this particular video. That's usually not the case. Now, the next myth I want to talk about has to do with fear, particularly the fear that publishing the wrong type of video on your channel could end up making your entire channel suffer massive ramifications from that. Now, I know even we talk about this. You don't want to confuse your viewers, right? If you are a mechanic and you fix cars on YouTube, but then one day you post a video of you in your kitchen making a sandwich, that will be a little bit weird for your regular viewers. However, that sandwich video itself may not do great, but that doesn't mean your next mechanic video about cars is going to suddenly do worse. It's a bit nuanced, but really what you should be doing is making content for your regular viewers while also allowing yourself to test new ideas that you at least hope your regular viewers might like, but maybe sometimes go a bit outside of that niche that you've carved out for yourself. Let's say, for example, you typically review mobile games on your channel, but an opportunity comes up for a VR game and you'd really like to review it. Releasing that VR video and then having it be poorly received by your regular viewers might seem like you made a huge mistake. On the flip side though, you've made content that's not necessarily for your regular viewers. You've potentially made content that is for new viewers. Yes, we hope those two viewers can live in harmony in the same place, but sometimes if you start pivoting your channel because you're more interested in, say, VR content, it's okay to continue making those videos because now your goal is different. Your goal is new viewers. Regardless of how you implement different types of content and expand your content on YouTube, just know that each video you post should just have a different goal. You should have a different mindset going into each one. A new type of format on your channel is great as long as you go into it knowing that day one, it's probably going to flop. If it does though, but you've done your research on the title and the thumbnail and you believe in the concept, leave the video alone. Give it a week, give it 3 weeks, give it some time to breathe and go out and try and find new people to bring to your channel. In short, you are allowed to try new things on YouTube if you're looking to grow on YouTube, and you absolutely should. No risk, no reward. That is how this game works. I was hoping saying in short was going to be like a good transition here, but it's not. We're going to talk about shorts. Shorts are also something that you should be going into with different goals in mind. There's a belief that making shorts will be great for engagement on your channel, will be great for bringing in new subscribers and new viewers who will watch all of your content because they subscribe to you, so they love you automatically, right? It's important to know though that shorts is kind of a different audience. I want you to think of YouTube Shorts on this platform as kind of another platform within YouTube itself. It's no secret that if somebody subscribes to you from a bunch of your YouTube Shorts, they're probably not going to watch your long form videos. It's very rare to make that happen. YouTube has given us all the tools they could possibly give us to try and make that happen, and it just hasn't worked out that way. And a lot of people feel like making shorts is actually harmful to their channels if they're trying to grow their long form side of their content. There's also a concern that if you are monetized on YouTube, that shorts make hardly any money when compared to long form videos. So a few things there. First, I'm here to say that no, making shorts, in my opinion, will not harm your channel. What it could do is distract you. If you're trying to make long form videos and you're trying to get those to pop off, but you're taking time to make and edit a whole bunch of YouTube shorts, that is less time you're spending on the long form side of your channel. There are other people who go out there and say, look, I made a short and it hurt this part of my channel here. I don't personally buy into that, but I'm not here to argue those points. The money thing though is a concern if your goal is to maybe go full time on YouTube. If you want to make real money with shorts, you need to grow to a point where you're able to actually attract brand deals, and that's a lot of work. Someone who's done that really well though is Jenny Hoyos, who we have talked to in the past about YouTube Shorts. It's worth noting that even she struggles to get people to go from her short form content to her long form content.
It really sucks. I think you have to see it as like two different games. Like they're two completely different challenges to me.
So in summary, if your goal is to make a channel that is focused purely around shorts, then that could be a great way to grow as a creator because you'll be known for your excellent shorts. But if you're trying to do long form content, or maybe both shorts and long form videos, you really want to pace yourself and figure out what balance works best for you. Because understand that a lot of people are not going to leave that short shelf to come and watch your long form videos most of the time. These days though, a lot of people are sick of hearing about YouTube Shorts. AI is the new trend, and it's here on YouTube, it's here to stay. Since the ChatGPT boom, there have been so many people talking about ways you can take a shortcut on YouTube and use AI to maybe even automate your content production pipeline, and then you'll become monetized and you'll get really rich and so on and so forth. We've even interviewed some creators who swear by YouTube automation and claim that they're making a small fortune every year. Can you really do that though? Does it work? Is it actually a shortcut on YouTube? There's a million things I could say here, but I'm going to try and keep it simple and just split this conversation up between audio and video. Audio-wise, there is a slew of text-to-speech tools that have become very popular. They can save you time, effort, and money, especially if you don't have like a fancy microphone, or maybe you just don't want to talk in your videos. If not used right though, especially for really long videos,
those voices can turn viewers away really fast.
There's also a lot of people who end up using these voices and end up making very repetitive content, and that's a great way to not get monetized when the time comes and you actually have met the requirements. By the way, I have more monetization stuff to dig into in a minute, but I want to talk about the video side of the AI conversation. Running a faceless channel often means that creators have to utilize things like movies and TV and even content from other creators to have something on the screen. But if you don't use that content responsibly, you could face a whole bunch of copyright issues and even have your channel deleted. Using stuff that other people make is something you can do, but you have to make it transformative. I'm not here to tell you the legal definition of transformative, but for example, let's say you're going to do a review of Doctor Who. As I understand fair use, I believe you can take those clips and have them on the screen every so often, kind of in reference to the things that you're saying. What I believe would get you in trouble is if you just kept one kind of clip up and just let it run the entire video while you just talk underneath it. I've also seen people take screenshots of things from like TV shows or games or something, and then just have them on the screen for a second to point at like a specific thing. Like maybe you're trying to break down a trailer that came out and you want to see all the hidden things that were in it. That's how I personally understand transformative content. But again, I'm not a lawyer, and all of that advice, if you follow it, could still get you in trouble. At the end of the day, I love using tools that help me enhance my workflow, that help me become faster at making awesome content. But nothing is going to compare to putting as much of yourself in that content as possible and making something by hand. As a YouTube creator, I urge you to be as in control of the content you put on this platform as possible. Relying on too much stuff that other people make just puts you at risk at the end of the day. Plus, if you fully automate a YouTube channel, you're not really doing yourself any favors in the long run, even if somehow it makes it through all of the checks that YouTube has and doesn't break any rules technically. Audiences gravitate towards people, and if you are not going to be present in the content, it's really, really hard to build a community. In my opinion, it would be incredibly tough to get a brand deal because brands want to work with people who've built up a relationship with their audience. Anyway, I mentioned monetization a minute ago, and there is a myth that I really want to dive into. It's this idea that small creators feel like if they're not monetized on YouTube, that automatically means their content doesn't get pushed as much because it's not going to make YouTube any money, so why would they push it? I'm here to tell you that couldn't be less true. Brand new channels starting from zero and that are not monetized are breaking through all the time. I've started new channels where the first video got tens of thousands of views. It wasn't monetized yet. YouTube saw that it had value. They pushed it to an audience anyway. YouTube is designed to simply find content that audiences like. The algorithm isn't programmed to discriminate against content because it doesn't have ads on it. Not to mention these days, YouTube is putting ads on non-monetized content anyway, which is a whole different frustration for small creators. A lot of creators feel as though their ultimate goal should be the YouTube Partner Program. I want you to have that goal for yourself, but I want you to focus on the quality of your content. Focus on your titles, your thumbnails, most importantly, the topic itself of the video. If you want to get into the YouTube Partner Program, you should be spending your time researching really awesome things that you could do on your channel. You do need to get better at those, and you need to get better at optimizing your channel as a whole. And when I say optimization, I am not talking about keywords and tags. I'll cover those in a second. Just imagine this. Close your eyes and imagine yourself scrolling through YouTube. Maybe closing your eyes doesn't make much sense, but you should absolutely do this. Scroll through YouTube and then ask yourself why you stopped on a specific video. The first thing that's going to grab your attention is the thumbnail. If it's a good thumbnail, the next thing you're going to do is probably read the title so you can get the full context. Both of these things are hugely important to get people to actually click on your video. And having a good title and thumbnail is a skill that you should absolutely develop as you make videos. Some larger creators we've talked to have taken this to a whole new level. For example, one interview in particular, they said they make 50 title ideas for every video. They mix and match those with different thumbnail concepts until they have a few that they actually really love. When it comes to packaging, the game has changed. I mean, look at the titles on our own channel. These days, they are very rarely based on trying to get search traffic. Instead, our titles and thumbnails are focused on emotions. We know these videos are going to get pushed on the home feed when people aren't really searching for them. So we need to try and use the videos to answer a question that people have been having about YouTube. Again, though, we do make videos sometimes that have a full-on search intent, but I'll get to that in a minute. I need to talk about something else first. Because since we're talking about titles and thumbnails, the next thing we do need to discuss is the click-through rate. Basically, the click-through rate is calculated by impressions and how many times people click on a video when they see it around YouTube. People automatically assume that a good click-through rate automatically means the video is just going to get pushed more and more and more. And retention also is part of that conversation. If people stick around and watch your video, then it's going to keep getting pushed more and more and more. Now, while those things aren't untrue, there's just so much going on in the background. A video is not just being judged by its retention or its click-through rate. If you want to go viral, it's going to depend on all of the things surrounding your video, not just the packaging, but also the content itself. Like I said earlier, the topic is super important. The reason I want you to not focus so much on click-through rate is because click-through rate itself is a very confusing metric. For example, you publish a video, right? The first place it goes is your most loyal viewers. Let's say you have 100 of these loyal viewers and 50 of them click on the video when it's shown to them right away. Hey, that's a 50% click-through rate. Let's say they watch a good chunk of it though. They really, really enjoy it. They engage with it. They hit like, things like that. YouTube sees that and goes, wow, the loyal viewers really like this. I'm going to take this video and share it with a lot more people. Suddenly, your video is not being shared with 100 people. It's being shared with potentially thousands of people. What's going to happen to the click-through rate? It's going to go down. But honestly, that's probably a good thing because you're getting more impressions. Your video is reaching new people. Some of them are clicking, some of them are not. So many times do people come to us and say, oh my gosh, usually I get a 10% click-through rate, but this time I published a video and it has a 2% click-through rate, but I don't get it. It's getting more views. Why is the click-through rate such crap? You should make good titles and thumbnails. You should take the data in, but don't just measure the success of a video based on this one thing. Improving as a whole is what makes you as a creator grow on YouTube and potentially even go viral. All right, let's bring it back to tags for a second now. I want a separate section for this because I need to make it clear. If I hear about tags one more time, I'm gonna lose it. Tags, at one time in history, played a pivotal role in a video's success or failure on the platform. Back in the day, YouTube was much more of a search-based platform. They hadn't really figured out the audience algorithm that they have now. These days, though, some of the biggest YouTubers don't even touch the tag box. And I've said this a million times now, but YouTube themselves, on their own help pages, have said, hey, tags are good for things like common misspellings. They're basically telling us, hey, we're no longer ranking your videos based on things like tags, so maybe focus on other stuff. I don't like leaving the box empty. I use our vidIQ tools to try and quickly fill that out with a few relevant keywords. I try and think of maybe common ways YouTube could be misspelled, like maybe the E gets dropped at the end or things like that. But I know that YouTube is going to do more than just look at the tags to figure out what the video is about. They can help maybe a tiny bit, but they're going to be reading the description. They're going to be looking at the transcript of what was physically said in the video so it understands, hey, like this video is about busting YouTube myths. So I want to make sure if people search for busting YouTube myths, even if that's not like super clear in the tags, it still shows up. Tags have gotten less and less important. And we have videos that talked about how important they were in the past, and now we have more recent videos where we talk about how they're not as important and you shouldn't be focused on them too much. So side tip, next time you're looking for some YouTube advice, look at the date of the video. If you're watching advice videos that are like 2 or 3 years old at this point, there's probably a lot of outdated stuff in there. Now, if you're looking for a more up-to-date guide on the YouTube algorithm, I'm going to recommend this video here because we've been going through a lot of our old content and trying to update it a bit with new information. This is an example of that. If this video is helpful, I believe this one is also going to be really good for you to watch.